When I woke up this morning, it was 19 degrees Fahrenheit. And the greenhouse says it's 70 inside now, but it's noon, so I had my first snow of the season, and it was cold enough that the snow remained on the ground this morning, particularly in places where there's shade. But the first night that it got down below freezing outside, I did not have frost fabric set up in here. I'd been away, coming back. I just didn't have time to put it up, honestly, and I didn't plan ahead of my travels before to make that work. So there are definitely a lot of warm season things in the greenhouse that didn't make it. So today I'm going to remove the frost fabric, remove the bug netting, clean out the dead plant material, and just basically do a lot of putting the garden to bed. It is getting to be winter time whether I want it or not. While the snow on the outside that we got last night isn't going to stick around within my 10-day forecast, I've got another day of snow, so I'm pretty much done with the outside gardening for the season. So now that it's warm enough to be working, at least in the greenhouse this morning, I've got a high of, I think, 31 today. So it's not great. Tomorrow's a high of 39, so I'll probably do more outside garden cleanup tomorrow. But all of it is preparing for how to use the greenhouse in the winter and preparing to be able to set up the garden for success in the spring season. Oftentimes, when you're doing gardening work, you're doing something months ahead of when you need it. When I'm going to start onion seeds for next year, it will actively be snowing outside. It will likely be January. And then I'll start tomatoes in February, and all of that will be for the coming season. Much like for today, I need to prepare for the winter season. Fortunately, the winter season's a little bit more restful. So, big push this weekend. And then I can just chill. The auto openers on the south side have opened because it's reached that temperature where it wants to do that. But all of the soil probes say it's just maintaining steady 40 degrees. 45, I guess. So 45 over here, 50 over on the south bed. In my last garden tour, I mentioned I wanted to see how far I could push warm season things. And because I did not seal up the doors, turn on the geothermal fans, the answer is not far. Particularly for things that are up in the greenhouse. The soil temperatures stayed pretty good, but anything up in the ambient air, less so. Temperatures in the greenhouse were only about 5 to 10 degrees warmer overnight, the nights that I was not running geothermal tubing. The next several days are going to be nights in the 20s, and then days in the 40s with sun. So I cannot yet disable the auto openers because during the day I'll bake my plants. So I need the windows to auto vent. However, at night I need to ensure they are all closed so that it retains heat. And I need to ensure that the geothermal fan is running and potentially that I'm covering the beds with frost fabric. But since all my warm season things look like this guy, I am going to harvest everything I can. I've made a good start on this north bed. I'm going to remove all the dead fall in here and then see what we have left, basically. So I have a bucket for all of my sad plants, a container for all of my things that are going to go inside with me, and here I've removed any lingering tomatoes and basils, and I've started to remove the cucamelon forest, which is limp and sad. And all of the little cucamelons got cold as well, so they are not good. Then all of these cabbage family crops are happy. There's nothing wrong with them. They are doing great. But my beans and my watermelon vines are going to have to come down. The pea basket, also happy. No problems there. And then my peppers. Peppers, I'll harvest what I can. Like this jalapeno doesn't feel squishy. I'll take him. But his plant is pretty done. This jalapeno is good too. So I will take out sad nasturtiums and I'll harvest what I can. The rose is still happy. That's cool. And then all of these lettuces and radishes and chards, those are all doing really well too. The rosemary is also good. Squash is dead. And the nasturtium over here. But the oregano is good, and any other root crop leaves are good. This happened because I wasn't paying as much attention to temperatures. The frost came on more suddenly than I was expecting. The main thing I've done to prepare for winter is I have this reflective insulation. It's usually used in places like attics. I'm pretty sure I just have like the 50-foot roll. My ideal is that I would have enough of that to cover this whole north wall in the winter. But it's an ongoing sort of process of improvement. Not there yet. I finished putting the garden to bed yesterday. Got the main garden done. Removed all the trellises, all the dead plant material, added that to my compost pile. And I'm going to show you what putting the garden to bed for the season looks like for me. I cut silage tarps to size and I placed them on top of the beds, and I've got all of my trellises and posts stored for the season. My hope with putting the silage tarp on top of the beds is because of how desiccating my winter wind is, I want to retain as much moisture as possible. And having the black side up means that in spring, the sun helps solarize the beds and warm that soil more quickly than it would if I had the white side up and if I left it to its own devices. Oftentimes, I'll be able to remove one or two of those, and I will put frost fabric over the outside beds to start things like radishes sooner out of doors. But that'll become springtime. So for the winter, I've put the garden to bed, and I'm on to the more restful season. Thanks for coming along with me, and I'll catch you next time. It smells weirdly like green beans in here. It's very strange.